Welcome to Vartalapa or Conversation, a podcast born from countless conversations that had to become more than just passing thoughts. I'm Sri Vidya Venkatasubramanya, founder and executive director of the Rave Cultural Foundation, where we bring the richness of traditional Indian performing arts. This limited podcast series delves into the values of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, transforming them from concepts into actions we live by. Through stories, shared experiences, and discussions with friends and experts from the community, we explore the intricate world of running an arts and culture-based nonprofit. By presenting our worldview on various topics related to our mission and work, we hope to inspire you to learn more about us and join us in our mission to bring people together and make a difference in the world we live in. Our mission at Rave Cultural Foundation is to share and celebrate traditional Indian performing arts with the Northwest Arkansas community and beyond. Through real-world experiences, inspiring performances, community showcases, classes, food, or jam sessions, the Rave Cultural Foundation sponsors events, provides education, and offers training in the arts and culture of India. I hope that Rave will leave its impact on our community by normalizing diversity. Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to talk about volunteering. It's such an important part of, I think, human life. It gives us benefits that we often don't even think about. And I couldn't think of three more eligible people than you guys to talk about it today. We have Kulpreet, Sudhir, and Mamatha. And I've known all of you not just through Rave, but even outside of Rave some. So I'm very excited to have you all join me today in this discussion. Before we really get into the topic fully, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I can get started. And thank you for inviting. Really excited. This is actually my first podcast.
Yay!
So I'm Mamatha Kambam. I'm a long-term resident at Bentonville. I've lived in other cities, Columbus, Texas, Houston, and also New Jersey. I've relocated here about 9 years ago. And I have two kids, teenagers. And they're my older son is at U of A and my little one is in high school, last year of high school. So I'm a textile technologist by education, so it's not very frequent that you find people in textile technology. And my professional career is focused in testing, inspections, and certification industry. So I've spent a decade in that field. And I also work for a very dynamic fashion brand in Columbus, Ohio, Abercrombie and Fitch.
So, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty fun, and I just like the operations excellence part of my job, the analytics, and and personally I like learning, I like traveling, and I like the community, belonging to the community. And actually, this is the first town that I feel like I belong to a community.
Wow.
And
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
I've lived in 5 states, and this is the first time I feel like, okay, I'm really part of this community, and I need to be participating and doing more
Wonderful.
with the community.
Wonderful.
So that's why, I found out about you guys, and I've attended some of the events, and I met you. Actually, I met you only at the events.
Yes.
So it's not that we knew each other
Yes.
before that.
Yes.
I used to volunteer at Crystal Bridges, and I used to see this group meeting, and I was always wondering, who are these people?
Right.
And I went to an event, and I found you guys. I'm like, oh, it clicked, two and
Right.
two added, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I want to be part of this as well.
Amazing.
My children were older, so I had a lot of free time to volunteer.
Right.
And keep myself busy, and
Right.
yeah, I've been beautiful part of the journey.
Great, yes, and we appreciate you a lot. Sudhir, you want to go next?
Yes, so Vidya, thank you for having me here, along with Kuldeep and Mamatha here. So as you know, I've been here since long time, I would say since 97. And as Mamatha said, that this is a perfect place for her. In '97, when I came with my family, I thought I would move out of this town maybe in a year or so, but that never happened. I tried to go out. I tried to go to Dallas, but I had to come back for obvious reasons. Because staying in Dallas and then here it's a lot of things. And the beauty of this place is we are so close knit. I mean, not just Indian community, but everybody else here. And I've seen the area grown, and so many opportunities to help with each other in various ways. And that's one of our topics today, to talk about volunteerism.
Definitely.
And speaking of my professional career, I work for a company called IBM. Been with them for 2 decades.
Wow.
But Walmart is one of my accounts, and primarily my work is provide services to Walmart with IBM products. And we are empty nesters. My son apparently works for Walmart. That's one of the perks of staying in this town.
Right.
And my daughter just graduated from UFA. She is currently working for a neurologist, and she wants to do career in medicine.
Fantastic.
Who knows? She wants to be a doctor or whatever. So it's open to her.
Fantastic.
So that's about me.
Do they live in Bentonville?
Yes, they do.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I can go next.
Yes.
My name is Kulpreet Singh Nankar, and I am new to this area. I got a job as a product manager in Walmart, and before that, I never knew about Northwest Arkansas. I didn't even know Walmart was headquartered in Arkansas, and I was like, okay, this is going to be something new. Initially, I was like a little skeptical about this area because I was like, my friends are going to New York, San Francisco, and I'm going.
You're going to Arkansas.
And I'm going to Arkansas. And when I told my parents, they were like, "What, Arkan?
They couldn't even pronounce.
And but yeah, I'm excited about having them here later during this year.
Wonderful.
It's
It's a best kept secret. We don't want people to hear about Bentonville.
Too much,
But once I moved into the area, my entire perspective about this area really changed because this area is like it's really calm and quiet, as you were mentioning earlier, and the people here are really nice. You can go and talk to anyone, and they'll talk to you for like hours if you don't stop them. There are so many nature places all around. So I love, my hobbies are like, I love outdoor stuff. So I love music festivals, camping, recently I bought a truck. So I do like a lot of off-roading and I really like that. A fun fact about me, I was a traveling motorcycle engineer back in India. And I did too much traveling and I was like, okay, I need to take a step back. And that's that's when I came to do my master's in the US.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. What have you done your
Wonderful.
master's in?
Engineering management.
Engineering management.
Yes.
Wow.
From North Carolina. And then I moved to here last year in February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a very good
Excellent.
mix.
Yes,
of,
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
not just IT, right? I mean, when we say Indians in Bentonville, it's Walmart and IT.
IT, yeah. I
Very
know.
inclusive. Generations, backgrounds.
I remember when we came here about 16 years ago. At that time, I remember. So I grew up in Delhi. That's where huge city. I'm used to living in a very cosmopolitan city, speaking multiple languages and everything. And then my husband also grew up between Calcutta and Delhi. Huge cities, both of them.
Yeah.
So we got married, and then we used to live in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis. And that itself felt a little smaller, than where
Delhi,
we had
yeah.
lived,
Yeah.
And then we
Certainly
moved
cultural
here.
shock.
We moved to Bentonville, and I was like, what is this Bentonville? Where is
Where is
Bentonville? And the funny part, the really funny part was we got off the airport and we were, we'd come on our first scouting visit, to kind of see if we, if like Walmart wanted to make sure the spouse and children were also going to be happy in this place. And we came. The first thing I saw was cows.
Yeah, that's the...
You were taken back to India?
Yes.
But see, the thing is, I'm a city-bred girl, okay?
Yeah.
And the only cows I've seen are the ones that
street
use...
stray cows and
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I've never seen cows in the
United States especially.
Yeah. So here, when I just started laughing, I said, okay, you're supposed to in life go from smaller cities and you have dreams of going to the bigger cities. And in our case, we kind of came back, from bigger cities, we moved to these smaller places. But yeah, I mean, it has been a very interesting 16 plus years here. My experience here has been very different from, like, all of you work for corporate America, and I don't. I am a small business owner, and when you are a small business owner, you meet people that who have very different backgrounds and who have very different perceptions and who have very different priorities. So it's been a little different, but we've enjoyed living here, and I think I've been very encouraged with all the changes that I have personally seen, happen here in the area. Yes, I think everything, all the investments that they're making in whether it is a cycle, biking, or whether it is
it's a very
the roads
ambitious city planning.
It is.
It's not haphazard. It really is very futuristic and includes a lot of aspects that you wouldn't see in already developed cities.
Very true. Very true. So it's it has its growth pains, but it's good. It's all good. There's always And so, so today we are going to talk about volunteering. So I came here about 16 years ago, didn't know a single soul. Like, I think it was the first time Arun and I had moved to a place where we didn't know anybody. Like, typically, even in Minneapolis, he had some friends, common friends from college, whom we knew. And I had some cousin, some second, third cousin, who was there. So something, we knew. We were like, oh, this person Minneapolis, and we know them and something. Here we didn't know anybody. So when we came, the children were very young. I had a 6-month-old and a 4-year-old. And we came, and the first thing I did was I volunteered for I'll never forget, it was for the Independence Day celebration.
Yes, I remember that.
I think we came in July and August. I was volunteering with my kids and everything. I was like, okay, let me go volunteer. And I met so many people, and we got involved with the temple. And, and there used to be that small temple, that shed over there, all the way near the airport. And we've come such a long way from there. And so it started over there, and it was a wonderful way to really get into the community, meet people, and I think that's the first step. But after that, I personally, my background is in education, and teaching and learning and things like that. And so when I started my Kumon Center, obviously my volunteering reduced a little, but I continued to do that, and I continued to do it in the larger community. So I would volunteer through the Chamber of Commerce, and I would go because there were a lot of education related committees and things like that through the chamber that I would volunteer my time for, to go sit and discuss how could we improve and what can we do and so on and so forth. So I think that aspect has always been there. I've volunteered from a very young age. So it just and everybody in my family, those who know my parents and everybody, as a family, we volunteered for so many things. Officially, I suppose I started as a volunteer of the Art of Living Foundation when I was, 17 years old or something like that. And I was very deeply involved in all of that. And so why volunteer? So I'll just start with my own. I volunteer because one is, for me, is what I'm volunteering for. It has to be something that makes sense to me, that I have some common urge within me to want to learn more about, or, to help others with, or whatever. And the second thing is, now when I look back, I think I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I believe that there are solutions to be had in our society to help us live better lives. So education for me, like when I run my Kumon Center, it's not just a business, it's not just a small business, I cannot ignore the needs of families, that go beyond the basic transaction that I have with them. And because it does affect, when you have a sick child, right? It affects. And as a teacher, I have to spend extra time with that child. I can't say, sorry, time is up. You have to leave. And so that working with people, there is a line after which it becomes volunteering. You spend more time, which you don't have to as a work hour or something like that. And that spilled over, that interest in especially children and education kind of spilled over into my wanting to start Rave Cultural Foundation, because I saw a big need in Northwest Arkansas for especially Indian children to get exposure to their heritage. Because even though, we do a lot of these bigger community events, the low, I call it the low-hanging fruit, which is popular culture, your Bollywood and, all the nice, fun stuff, right? The fun stuff is, yes, that's one layer, right? And it's a very superficial layer, but there's so much more to our culture and traditions. And they carry, hundreds and thousands of years of our identity, and it's important to connect with it. So that's kind of what started me off more into starting an organization, and getting into that level of engagement with the community and so on. So yeah, I would love for you all to share your, different perspectives and reasons why you volunteer and how that has helped you.
Yeah, so for me, it's like more of I was volunteering at work pretty much all of my time, more than 50 hours I used to, whatever left was out of the 40, the work week, I would just spend about work or at work. And after a while, it gets pretty, heavy on you, where you're so connected to work, you don't treat it as work, right? So I wanted to really create that, distinguishing work versus outside work. And it really helped me to, have that schedule and follow the events, whatever is happening in the community, follow those events. And I would also encourage people at work to attend, especially some of the Indian community events, right? They were not exposed to any of that. And some of the music enthusiasts have come over to the events. So when I'm volunteering, I'm more inclined to recommend those things to people. Hey, come on, I'm working here. Why don't you join and look at it, right? So it was more of just doing something outside work. And then it became like, okay, I'm talking to strangers. This is something that I'm not very comfortable doing. So as more and more I got involved with the events, it kind of like help me open up and just be free with people and discuss random things like, memberships and what's happening in the summer camps or why are we painting a bus or something, right? So just explaining things to people from what we're trying to achieve with the events was kind of
that's
engaging.
Such a big personal development goal, right? I mean,
exactly.
To talk to strangers and engage them.
Yeah. So it's pretty much at a very personal level, and people energize me. I've always been wanting to be with people. So when I'm alone, it's like it's okay, but at some point you need to get out of the house, and especially with more time on hand, with children being older and not as much, drain of your weekends to take care of them. That's where I started with Crystal Bridges, and I also went through the Whole Health Institute training for volunteering. Once it's up and running, I think I will volunteer there as well. I kind of like started very late in contrast to you. But I find it's very important to kind of for everybody to just get out there and see what's happening and just forget and be in that moment. And you go back home and you're like, okay, whatever I was worried about or stressed about, like it's not that important. Life goes on.
Exactly. Yeah, very true. I mean, you meet other people, like I was saying earlier, you meet other people with other priorities and other perspectives, and, it opens up your perspective also, like, oh, yeah, I never thought about it that way,
And you really don't need any company, or you don't need to plan anything. You just need to follow the events and, just sign up on the platforms, either for, online with Crystal Bridges, or for yourself on the WhatsApp group. So it's an easy access to do something. I don't have to have a plan. I can just jump in and, okay, I'm here, I'm there, like, I'm going to do something.
Right.
Oh, I can go next.
Yes, checkmating.
I was thinking about my answer first.
No, you can say anything you want.
So my volunteering journey started with my parents. My father was in the army, and he started a school for differently abled children.
Wow.
Nice.
I never knew that about you, Kulpreet.
I don't really talk a lot about that. It never comes up. But when I saw that, when I was just in first, second class, I saw that, and that really, I think, moved me. And over the years, I really went, like, service to the nation is one of the important things of army. So I really learned the service attitude from my father and mother. And over the years, I volunteered at temples and gurudwaras and trying to help them out. When I went into my university, my bachelor's, that's when I joined a club called Volunteer Services Organization, where we used to clean the streets, and we used to go to old age homes. And at that point, I realized, like, the people who come to volunteer, they're like really different. And I really resonate a lot with those kind of people. And I feel like they are like my kind of people, and they share the same values with me. So then once I graduated, I started working in India, and I joined an organization called Robin Hood Army in India.
I've heard about that.
So one of my best experiences with them was during COVID, when there were lockdowns done. There was a huge migration of the workforce, people who were working in Mumbai and all of these places. They were migrating back to UP and Bihar and all of that. And like they were going on like anything, like they were going on cycles, and they were going on trucks and everything. So I really felt like we need to do something. So we organized like on the side of the roads, we organized like food camps where like they could stop, anyone could stop, eat food, water, and get sanitation supplies and everything. And that's where I like volunteering really solidified in me, because I saw that I was making an impact in the community. And I was really like, when I really see someone's a smile on someone's face when you give them food or something, that really changes, that really removes all. If I'm really tired, I all my tiredness is gonna go away.
Amazing.
And I can go on for hours and hours. I can't do that at work. Please don't send this to my manager. But so when I came to the US and I started working, I got to know about Ravi, and I got to know about other food banks and homeless shelters that are around here. And that's where I keep volunteering and keep meeting people like you all, and I keep getting energized from the energy that all of you have.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I just love that. I love your energy.
Absolutely.
When we go to the family events, I also interact with children, right? And that's something that I miss out of my children's childhood. They're really talking something really silly and really funny, and so that's like another aspect, for me, where I don't get that at home.
Yeah. Yes, very true.
I get annoyed when children are like that. But maybe when I become a father, I may be different.
You'll get there.
You'll get there.
So in my case, the foundation of volunteering really started during my school days. I would say childhood itself. I could tell instances where I volunteered is basically in the neighborhood, especially during the big festivals, right? Like Diwali, So we used to go to neighborhoods houses and help them to make something like some hard work, and even like laying those
Diyas?
sevayas.
Oh, sevayas.
Sevayas, okay.
And then just taking it to the plate and putting it outside. So helping all the neighbors. So that's the foundation I call myself as a volunteer. Because, if you're, getting somebody a domestic help, it'll cost.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And then slowly I went into helping in the school, temples and whatnot, and then came here. And back in India, it was kind of, I'm doing it. So it was kind of a self-pride, right? It was not selfless, I would say, I'm getting something out of it. That was the sense. But here, when I came to United States, I really found that most of the people volunteer in the churches, wherever possible. And I got that particular perspective. And my kids were professional swimmers, in the sense like they were on a club. So I used to take them for practices, and then on the weekend there were swim meets. And I was wondering, why would I just sit on the beaches and then watch them? Why don't I volunteer there? So I just approached the people there, and then they said, okay, either he could be an official or do something during the swim meets or whatever you like. So I thought I would just get into the field. So I went up to a referee level volunteering. So that was another thing. And then one thing I see a big advantage of is connecting different people, kids, grown-ups, grandmothers, and everything. So fast forward, in 2008, you came in.
Yeah.
Right? And
that's a whole podcast, separate podcast.
It's a separate podcast, yeah. So I got introduced to Art of Living. So it is started by Sri Ravi Shankar almost 40 years ago. And again, that's another largest non-profit volunteering organization.
That's completely based on volunteers. Yeah.
And a lot of things I learned about what a volunteer means. And one of the things is getting empowered, right? Not just sitting in some corner and just thinking that somebody will do that particular job or something that is needed in the community. And one thing I think about why volunteer is I got some intrinsic qualities that are given or God gifted. So I need to give it back to the community, right? Doesn't mean that, just a specific area, but it could be anything. Like just recently we had tornado, so some of the families were impacted. So we went there, helped them to give food, whatever is needed. Some people didn't have any amenities to even clean up their backyard. So we went, cut some of the trees and then just cleaned up areas. So some of the things really help. And then, of course, as you all said, the connection, that is a huge thing that I get out of volunteers.
When you go through the events like severe weather, you understand the importance of people helping each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And, in volunteering, there's also this thing. It is hard, because all of us have full-time jobs. We have families and, whatever age group, it may be. Because I have volunteered, like I think back, and I have volunteered when my children were young also, and I would take them with me wherever I went. That didn't prevent me from volunteering. And they have, and because they, just as, I saw my parents do it and I just learned to be like that. I think my kids also have, they understand that, when you go somewhere, you help out, you don't just sit and, watch others do work kind of a thing. And ultimately it boils down to, there are challenges in our society, in where we live, in our communities, all sorts, whether, like I said, whether it is education, whether it is health, whether we just feel sometimes, when we talk about cancer or blood donation or something like that, then immediately people feel that, kind of an emotional connection and go, oh, that is, that's so important and all. But actually everything is important. Even arts and culture is important, because I have seen so many children grow up here in this community, and they learn Indian music, they learn Indian dance, and they are so, they don't want to share it with everybody else. They are, I call them the closeted Indians, and I've seen my own daughter be like that. My Nandini's son, we all parents, we watch that in front of our eyes. And why should you feel that sense of, I'm odd or I'm different, so every aspect of a full life, I think, is important, and it requires a lot of community support. It takes a village.
Platform for them to
exactly
do what they like to do and showcase it.
Yeah, and we all need to show up for each other to achieve that.
Yes.
If you guys didn't show up, I'm going to put that truck to good use, right?
The last time you were doing the parade,
right.
I got to know that about later, but
Right.
I wanted to go in the parade with my truck, and people could have stands.
We are doing it, okay? Next time we are doing that.
Yeah.
But that's all it's about, right? It's just about, I have this and
Makes
I can...
the community lively.
Absolutely.
Right?
And because, yes, everybody does have that different piece, which is also important, in the community, and to take Indian culture, not only for Indians to connect with our own heritage, to keep that, because we all are like that, we don't move out of India and just forget, that we are Indians. We still love to wear saris and, wear the bindi or, eat our own
That's
food.
another reason, I get to wear Indian clothes.
There you go. Very authentic reason to wear it, right? Yeah, and just feel, and that's what makes you feel at home. You speak in Tamil, or in Marathi, or in Punjabi, or and then you just feel, oh yeah, there's a bit of home here,
And especially when I moved from India to US, I felt like I had lost that kind of a connection. And that's when I was like, I need a community around me that can remind me of that connection, and people who speak my language, people who think the way that I think and stuff. And that's what I like about Rave, is you can come in and then interact with people like that, and you feel like you're back at home, even though you're here.
Yes, absolutely, very true. And I think about some of our events, the artists we bring, or even here, we did that, what was it, Tula, right? That dance performance that we had. So many people came and said, oh my gosh, I can't believe I saw a full-length Bharatanatyam performance here in Bentonville, Arkansas, right? Because again, artists, there are so many people in our community who are so talented.
Yes.
They get 5 minutes, somewhere. Yeah. And it takes 5 minutes to warm up your voice. So to provide that platform, and we all enjoy it also anyway. I hear a lot of people who say, oh, it's so boring, classical music or, traditional music. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's just perhaps you don't have enough exposure to it,
Correct.
Because if you listen to it more and more, you would see how energetic and how uplifting it really is.
It is.
So.
And I also see and compare contrast, in India and versus in US. Here I think for example in Crystal Bridges, most of the volunteers are retirees, and they have their own community, like a sub-community and a friend circle, and it's very I would say a very holistic and a healthy lifestyle when you really don't have work or family or children to take care of.
Yes.
And it becomes very value add to the community at the same time.
Very true.
I see that it's not as much encouraged or pursued back home. When I look at my parents, they're kind of bored or watching TV or just talking, or there's no or they could have used their skills in terms of organizing and making it much more inclusive for more people to enjoy. The other thing that I was very touched actually by the Crystal Bridges team was when I started volunteering in 2020 when the COVID hit. It kind of became everything closed, everything shut down, and everybody was scared and afraid what's coming our way. And a lot of the volunteers were also, 65 and over, the high risk category during the COVID time. So they started doing an outreach email to everybody. And I felt so touched, and I was like, why didn't I think about it? Why didn't I reach out to people that were in my friends group on my Facebook.
Right.
And I really started doing that. And people that I had not talked to in 10 years, I reached out to them and said, how are you doing? So it just gave me that, little nod to go ahead and reach out to people. And things like that it's very easy to do, but we just don't think about doing those things, very small and simple things. Yeah.
Yeah, and on the same lines, I was asked one time, okay, why do you do this? What do you get? I plain and simple, I told is, I don't expect anything out of this.
Yeah.
I'm just giving it back to the community, right? And then what about a family? Oh, my wife is there to take care of my family. And then thanks for my wife for letting me to do this, right?
And she also volunteers so much.
Yeah, she does.
Also has her own.
She has that background of volunteering at home, back at her parents. But one thing I want to say here is volunteering doesn't mean that somebody or you have to do something physical, like lifting stuff and then moving here and there. As I said, it could be sending emails, flyers, or whatever it could be.
Yeah.
There are tons of opportunities and
it could just be even talking, to a younger person or mentoring, or there's just so many.
Yeah. And then coming back to culture, I've learned a lot of things, not just our Indian culture, but even American culture. There are so many people from different parts of the world, and like the Walton Art Center there in Fayetteville, they bring so many events and performance there, and then it's a great way
Very
to
true. Yeah, I've seen shows there that I would have never seen otherwise. Yeah, very true. Yes, and that's it, right? That's just goes back to that. There are always so many ways and opportunities, to volunteer, to kind of connect with the community, and just don't stay home, get out of it.
You actually may get something out of it. I volunteered for a Indian chef, like Native American chef.
Oh, okay.
And I got to try Native American dishes that I've never tried.
Wow, that's great.
Fantastic.
How were they? Did you like them? Or
They were good. Very, combinations that I've never tried. But, it was something first time.
Yeah. That's the best. I think volunteers, are the most adventurous lot. So with that, let me bring this conversation, our Vartalapa, to an end for today. Thank you so much, all of you, for sparing time. Really appreciate it, for volunteering to be here today and to talk about this. Because yes, everybody who's spoken at our podcast was not paid or anything. It was all voluntary.
Absolutely.
We reached out and everybody was just so happy to join us, and thank you. We cannot thank you all enough. And really appreciate all of you showing up for Rave, especially because I know you guys do a lot of other things, but that you show up for Rave and that aspect of our community, really truly appreciated. Thank you all, and see you around soon.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you
Thank you
as
so
well
much.
and everything that you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 10 years ago, I would not have imagined that there could be something called Rave here. Somebody bringing all these artists from India, especially.
Yeah.
And somebody would have said, hey, it's a crazy idea. But you are the
Hats
force
off to
behind
you.
that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Kudos
Thank
to you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You've all helped in making that happen. So, and Kulpreet, that truck, okay?
Absolutely. Anytime
You're
you call me
voluntold now.
Yeah, always happy. I love taking it out and helping people. So.
Awesome. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Vartalapa. Thank you for joining us as we explored the world of nonprofits and the values that drive us. A huge thanks to our guests for their insights and stories. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Let's keep these important conversations alive and thriving. You can find our podcast of Vartalapa or Conversation on Spotify and our YouTube channel. Be sure to tune in, stay curious, stay connected, and join us next time on Vartalapa. Until then, keep making a difference in your world.